Welcome back. Today we are dissecting the NYSC saga. That's the National Youth Service Corps saga involving social economic issues, the moral question that it raises. And joining me for this discussion is someone who needs no introduction. He's the human rights community leader and somebody who's a lawyer and activist and the secretary of the Citizens Liberties Committee of the Nigerian Bar Association. He is Mr. Effiong Inihebe. I hope I got that right. That's Barrister Inibehe Effiong. Mr. Effiong, you're welcome to the program.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me.
All right. You've been at the fore when it comes to several, certain issues when it comes to rights and all that. And the first question for me would be, let's look at the economic realities. Let's go there. And says there are many youth corps members who are saying, hey, we're not being paid well. Whatever is being paid is not working for us. Where does this leave us right now when it comes to the Youth Corps program as it stands today? Where does it leave us, basically? The challenges faced by Nigerians in general. Let's begin from there.
Thank you for having me. Let me start or preface my comments by saying that when the National Youth Service Corps was established in 1973 by the Yakubu Gowon regime, the intention, in some sense, was noble, given that we had just come out of the Civil War that spanned, over a period of about 30 years, with thousands of people slaughtered. Nigeria was deeply polarized along ethnic and religious divide. So the Gowon regime bettered the NYSC with the intention of unifying the country. And it is important that I start on that basis so that we don't lose focus of what the NYSC is meant for. It was meant to unify the country. That is why when you are posted as a corps member, you are posted outside your area of comfort, usually outside your state of origin or outside the state where you attended a tertiary institution. It is intended to give you exposure to other parts of the country. And that is why, for me, for example, I finished from University of Uyo, I was posted to Ondo State. The intention was for me to understand the culture of the Yoruba people and a place other than my area, where I grew up. That is what the NYSC was designed for. Now, about 52 years after this scheme, or the NYSC was established, if you put a vote today and ask Nigerian graduates, Nigerian students, and even persons who have passed through the NYSC, I will not be surprised if majority tell you that it is a colossal failure. The purpose for which the NYSC was established has not been attained. Nigeria is now more polarized than it has ever been. Polarization along ethnic lines has even become the bane of a political experiment. So can you really say that in terms of the objective that the NYSC has succeeded? I do not think so. Now, in terms of contributing to human capital development, right? You have states, for example, where there are no teachers in public schools, and these corps members are sent and posted to those schools to basically supplement the capacity of the teaching force in those schools. To that extent, the NYSC still serves some good. But to the extent that the welfare of corps members, those who have gone through this service, have been neglected, 52 years after, corps members are being arrested, like corps members who were taken from Akwa Ibom while going to somewhere in the north to serve. It took about a year before they could be rescued. Corps members are being killed in the course of service. No compensation to their families. So the scheme has basically derailed because the leadership of the country and the leadership of the NYSC has completely failed to attend to the demands of the corps members, from the issue of accommodation to issue of the general welfare, their transport, how they get to where their place of primary assignment, to even the security and safety of corps members. Remember in 2011, where Nigerian corps members were slaughtered in some states in the north. Till date, nobody has spoken to justice for those corps members. So this is a scheme that has failed, and I hope the government will have the sincerity and the honesty to admit it and begin to see whether this scheme can be salvaged. Because the way it is looking now, it is beginning to look that they are turning the whole scheme into a complete joke, with the way they are now going after, persons who are voicing their concerns about the issues militating against the NYSC.
All right, it's fine that you have taken us there because we have to go there. That's why we are here, voicing concerns. The present government can say that they have indeed increased the price for which, what the corps members are paid every month, that it was increased. And it's way bigger than what the minimum wage would have been as at the time. And then they are saying, what more? There are things that are thinking to do, but what more could we have done? And then you have somebody who has voiced her opinions as regards what's going on in the general scale. But she is serving now as a core member, and there are legal and ethical aspects to this case. So the question then becomes, what part of the laws did she flout as a member of the National Youth Corps Service? What part has she flouted? And what part have the government, on the other hand, flouted? What really is going on here? And who really is at fault in this case as we speak? Knowing that you are a defendant of the person in question. So we must speak to the issues, basically.
Well, let me speak to the issues. And the issues are not complicated, right? And part of the conversation that I have seen in a section of the social media is this insinuation that Rita Osher or Raye is an employee of the federal government. She's working for the government. Being an employee of the government, why will she criticize the government that she's working for? That is legally unfounded. Corps members are not civil servants. This patriotic citizen of Nigeria, Rita, who voiced a justifiable concerns about the impact that inflation has had on her, she is not in the employment of the Nigerian government. Even me that is talking to you.
I want to ask you, if she,
yes.
Sorry, but she gets paid by the National Youth Service Corps. Are you saying in that same scheme that she's not still, working for the government?
No, let me be clear to you, because I want to be heard clearly, and I challenge anyone to a debate on this. Nigerian corps members are not civil servants. They are not employees of the government. In fact, I have the NYSC Act here, the National Youth Service Corps Act. I challenge anyone to refer me to any provision of this act, this law, that establishes the NYSC, that suggests that corps members are civil servants. The closest that you will find under this act is where reference to employer is used in the NYSC Act. What the act refers to is PPA, that is place of primary assignment. Assuming without conceding, yes, because the corps members under the act can be posted either to a private sector or public sector. But assuming without conceding that corps members serving in government agencies or government institutions are deemed in some sense to be working for the government, that will still not apply to this particular corps member. She works in the private sector. She's not working in any government parastatal. So you can't even say, how can you say someone is an employee of a government and is not paid salary? I hope you are aware. You cannot say...
But the government can say, can you hear me? The government can say that they facilitated her move to the private place where she's working at the moment. No. Again, that is just like a recruitment agency. For the purpose of posting corps members to PPA, the NYSC basically acts as a vehicle, as an agency, for the purpose of enabling corps members to go to PPA where they are serving. I want to be heard very clearly that under the act, under the law, if you look at section 2 of the NYSC Act, all that the law requires is for corps members to be called up. That is the language of the law. To be called up if you are eligible, that is within the age bracket that is permissible. You are called up to serve. And the law makes it compulsory that once you are still within the age bracket, you offer yourself for compulsory service. It is called national service, not service to the federal government. Because corps members are not just serving in government, that is those that are even serving in government agencies. They serve in state agencies, they serve in federal, local government, they serve in the private sector. They even serve in all manner of places. So you cannot say that a corps member is, how can you say someone is working for the federal government? Federal government is not paying you salary, federal government is not paying you pension, federal government is not giving you accommodation allowance. What does the Nigerian government do for corps members? Is it the 33,000 we are talking about? It is just someone saying, I want to serve Nigeria. It's been increased right now, yes?
It is audio increments.
And that is also payment. So what do you call that payment made to the corps members?
It has not been increased.
What do you call the payment made to the corps members?
The allowances of corps members have not been increased.
So what do you call the payment? What do you call the payments made to the corps members?
It is an allowance for inconvenience. That is simply what it is. You can't call it any other thing. Allowance for inconvenience. And it is not even sufficient. It is not sufficient. Because if you look at even the law, the benefit that corps members are supposed to get, the government doesn't even keep to it. Basic accommodation, for example, under Section 18 of the Act, a corps member is supposed to be given accommodation, right? A corps member is supposed to be given welfare facilities, transport, and other facilities enable them to go to work. Does the Nigerian government give that? The answer is no. And let me also mention to you, upon conclusion of your national service.
General statement. What about, are there not people who are getting these allowances, if not all? Are there not people who are getting
possibly those who are lucky to work in the private organization, private sector? I served in the Ondo State Ministry of Justice about 10 years ago. For the entire 1 year of my service, the Ondo State government did not give me one kobo, either as transport allowance or for anything, for the 1 year I served in Ondo State. So will you now come and tell me tomorrow that, oh, while I was serving, I, in Iberefio, did not have the right to criticize the policy of the government because of a paltry 19,800 allowance that could not cater for anything? Members are not civil servants. And I'm saying that even under the law, when you complete your national service, what the Act says, Section 11, is certificate of service. Certificate of service, national service, not certificate of employment. No core member is issued letter of employment in Nigeria. Serving in the scheme is not even pensionable. Right? The head of civil service of the Federation has no business to play with the role of core members.